Hi everyone, my name is Diane Whitley and I'm from Park to High Park, EarlyON Child and Family Centers. We are here today to share some information with you all about the Nipissing Checklist, also known as the LookSee Checklist.
Hi, I'm Manisha Shrestha. I'm a graduate student from Ryerson University doing my internship at CDI, EarlyON Child and Family Center.
Hi, my name is Christian Morgan. I'm a family support worker with at the same place. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Glenda Diaz. I'm also a family support worker at the same center.
Okay, so the Nipissing Checklist, also known as the LookSee Checklist, is a simple, easy to use developmental tool designed to help monitor a child's development from 1 month to 6 years of age, featuring a short list of yes or no questions about the child's abilities. The LookSee Checklist, formerly called the Nipissing Checklist, was created in 1993 by a Canadian nonprofit organization made up of early childhood specialists. And 25 years since, it has been translated into over 10 languages, and it has helped thousands of children worldwide through initiatives with organizations like the Ontario Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services and World Vision. So today we'll be focusing on the age between 1 to 2 months.
Thanks, Diane. So I've just pulled up the website that you could register as. So it's completely free. You just create an account with them and you use your email and they'll set all of that up for you. The other option is we also have the checklist available. So if it's not something that's easy for you to do, we can also do it individually with you. But I just wanted to go show everybody quickly. So what happens is when you go to download a checklist, you choose the product that you want, and there's different. So the very first one, and I'll show everybody just what the regular checklist looks like. Then there's an illustrated checklist. There's also an illustrated guide. So I'll show those quickly. And then it has the ages. So the important thing with this one is to check the age that your child has already completed. So if your child is 3 months, you want to do the 1 and 2 month checklist with them. Then after ahead. Yeah, we don't want to jump ahead because sometimes children aren't there yet. So then there's different languages that you could download. So the very first one, and we're going to go through these in depth more in our video moving forward a little bit. So the checklist, this is the first page for just like the regular checklist, and it has the questions and then some tips to help you to help your child develop different areas of their development. Then we have the illustrated version. So if anybody has language difficulties, this is a really great one. It gives you visuals if you're not sure what the words or what the questions mean that they're asking you. And then to expand on this one, there is the guide, the illustrated guide. And this one, again, we're going to go through a little bit more in depth, but it just does one question per page. Let me just skip to one quickly. And then it gives you added questions. So I just wanted to share with everybody. So it's the LookSeeChecklist.com, and there's an area for you to be able to create
an account.
An account with them. Yes, thank you. I'm just going to switch over to the illustrated guide. So we're going to start off, we're going to make videos for all of the ages. It's nice to go over. The first ones are pretty easy. They're pretty straightforward. When babies are 1 and 2 months, it's pretty easy. The reason why we wanted to go through the extended version is because sometimes we're not sure what the questions mean when they ask you. And you'll see what we mean by that as we go through them.
Now, have you switched over already, Glenda?
I have.
Okay. Because we did not follow.
Okay, so let me just switch. My apologies. I thought you guys had switched over with me.
No worries.
So this one, we're going to go through the extended version. So there is the checklist, which we'll show you. Then there is also the illustrated checklist, which is 1 page. This one is longer, but because it has for each kind of development, it has the
pictures as well as some extra
pictures.
questions.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Perfect. Let me just move down.
Right. So I'll talk a little bit about how to use the guide. So just really quickly, it's really straightforward. So it's a really simple guide, and they made it this way just so almost anyone can use it. And for this particular version, they're looking at breaking it down even more basically. So they put only 1 question per page, right? So that you got the illustration, and then you have the question, and maybe some like follow-up to help you understand the question. Yeah. They're going to use large type and plain language. The illustrations are very simple, very straightforward. And they're going to go through developmental markers, and they'll have additional further questions and a big old summary at the end. So like Glenda already said, you want to choose the nearest age when you're choosing which section or which I guess screening tool to look at, right? So, and she already mentioned that you're not going to look at the 4-month checklist if your child is already 3 months or only 3 months. But you can look ahead if you want. Why not? See where you're going. Have a look and see where you're going.
The one thing too, Christian, is that they do have, if your child was born prematurely, if you do LookSee checklist.com/premature, they'll help you kind of figure out which checklist you should be doing with your child.
Based on where they ended up when they came out. So yeah, and here's another point here. Point number 2 there, it says ask the questions and record answers. So like they give you a spot if you've printed out the page where you can write down what your answer is to the question that you see, and that can be helpful if you really want to track things out and like you've thought of something, you might forget it, so write it down. And then, if you've answered no to any of the questions, follow up with a professional at your next appointment with the pediatrician or your family doctor, or whoever. Bring it up to them, and they can help you with supports, or you can call us as well. We can help as well too, with sending you along to different supports.
Yeah, and then they also make, there are some times where they have asterisks on certain questions, and we realize all of us come from different backgrounds. So some of the points that they're asking may not be common to all cultures. So that's why it's important to record and say, is this something that I should be concerned about? Or maybe it's just not something that your family does, but there are other ways that you could support that development as well.
Yes.
All right, so.
Yes, I go first. We wanted to talk about the developmental markers and go through them because these are all our children, all our babies are. This is kind of like how they are, right? This is who they are. This is what makes them who they are in a way, right? So we're looking at the different areas where they're developing, and so I'm going to start with emotional. So the items under emotional are looking at the child's ability to discover their self and the relationship of self with others. Also included in this area is the development of a sense of safety and security. And it's really, this section is really important, especially for this age, 1 to 2 months.
Yeah, so while we talk about fine motors, this look at the child's ability to develop their strength, stability, and control of the arms and hands for functional movement, the development of eye-hand coordination, visual motor integration, and or oral motor coordination for feeding and speech are also included in this area.
Gross motor, these items look at the child's ability to develop balance, coordination, strength, stability, and body awareness through movement.
Then the social markers look at the child's ability to develop turn-taking, sharing, cooperation, and empathy through interactions, games, and imaginative play. Attachment and development of joint attention are also included in this area.
And then we have self-help. And so these items look at the child's ability to develop responsibility for daily activities and move towards independence. Now, like, not all of these are gonna like fit with your 1 to 2 month old. Like this is like looking a lot further down the road, but it's still an area where they will eventually develop. And
Yeah, so in communication section, these items looks at the child's ability to develop language comprehensions and language expression through sounds, gesture, words, and word combinations. Receptive language, expressive language, articulation, fluency, and conversation are also included in this communication section.
Learning and thinking, these items look at the child's ability to explore, increase knowledge, and improve memory, reasoning, and perception by acting upon objects in the environment through the use of touch, smell, taste, hearing, and vision. They demonstrate an awareness of self and others, motivation, and attention to task.
Vision and hearing, keep in mind that visual and hearing acuity can impact the child's ability to perform successfully on many items. If there are any concerns, make sure that an appropriate referral is made, or that you see somebody that takes care of eyes specifically and a hearing professional.
mm-hmm.
So we'll start with this one.
So here we go. So this is item number 1. So by 1 month of age, does your child look at you? And like, I love how they just like keep it so simple. Does your child look at you? So the further follow-up questions, does your baby look up at you when feeding? So whether by a bottle or on the breast. And when you are close to your baby's face, does your baby look at you? And sometimes they don't. So, so if it's a no, you check no. And if it's a yes, we check yes.
No, and 2, it's important to remember sometimes people will think baby is not, but it's when they're awake, try and get close to them. Because remember, 1 month olds, their field of vision is very, very narrow. So we want to make sure that we're nice and close to them so that we know whether they are seeing us or not.
And sometimes you can just move your head too and see if they're tracking you.
Although at 1 month, not quite yet, but they'll get there. Yeah. So Manisha, you up?
By 1 month of age, does your child startle to a sound or sudden noise? So for the question would be, what does your baby do when there is a loud or sudden noise? Does your baby makes a sudden movement when they hear a loud noise? Or does your baby open their eyes wide after a sudden noise?
By 1 month of age, does your child calm down when comforted? A question you could ask is, does your baby stop fussing when you pick them up? Does your baby seem content when you pick them up? So again, either yes or no.
And sometimes, especially with this one, I find we have to go kind of through a checklist of, are they clean? Are they hungry? Are they overtired? Are they overstimulated? Because sometimes 1 month old babies, you have to go through a checklist, and it's okay if they don't calm down right away. Sometimes we have to just keep guessing and try and figure out what helps them to calm down. So by 1 month of age, does your child suck well on the nipple? So how do you feed your child? Does your baby drink well from the breast or the bottle? Do you and your baby enjoy feeding time?
So by 2 months of age, does your child follow movement with eyes? So it's almost just like what we just talked about too. So when you move, do your baby's eyes follow you? Does your baby watch a toy as it moves in front of them? And this can be a real fun game.
So by 2 months of age, does your child study your face? And when you are close to your baby's face, does your baby watch you? Is your baby interested in looking at her face? They might deny sometime, but you should consider.
By 2 months of age, does your child startle or awake to loud noises? Some questions you may ask are, what does your baby do when there's a loud or sudden noise? Does your baby make a sudden movement when they hear a loud noise? Does your baby wake up to a loud noise? Example, dog barking or door slamming.
And some babies are heavy sleepers, so those kind of sounds will not really bother them. So by 2 months of age, does your child stop crying when comforted by you? So how do you help your baby stop crying? Does your baby stop crying when you pick them up? Does your baby calm down when you gently rock, sing, or talk to them? And sometimes you have to try them all over and over to kind of figure out, again, going through your checklist of, are they clean? Are they hungry? Or are they overtired? And then, you still trying those gentle rocks or singing or talking to them.
It's like a Rubik's Cube, right? There's a lot of problem solving here.
Yeah, and I mean, in this one, it's important to remember too, like, it's okay to put baby down, to calm yourself down, because they really do feed off of our energy.
That's true.
So if you're feeling kind of really overwhelmed, put baby down for a second, calm yourself down, and then come back. And it's okay, baby will be okay until you come back, and then you can try again.
So we're still going on 2 months. So you notice we left 1 month a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the amount of things that we're looking at for the 2 months is already like double what we saw in the 1 month period. And that's just going to keep getting bigger too, or up to a certain point, the further along we go in the ages, looking at the different ages. So for this one, does your child enjoy being touched and cuddled? Does your baby seem happy when held by you? What does your baby do when you hold them close? Does your baby like being held? Or are they pushing away? Or are they fussing more? Or,
By 2 months of age, does a child recognize and calm down to a familiar, gentle voice? Does your baby become quiet when they hear your voice? Or does a baby become quiet when they hear a voice they know?
And we always remind parents, like, babies have been hearing your voice for a while, so it really is something that they recognize.
By 2 months of age, does your child have different cries? How do you know when your baby is hungry or tired? Does the sound of your baby's cry change when they're hungry or tired?
Do babies have different cries? So coos and gurgles. So maybe they mean sounds by that one.
think so.
Different sounds.
Does your baby make different sounds? What sounds does your baby make? Right? So it's like you'll hear a lot of coos. It's funny. It literally sounds like the word coo. They're usually like, coo. Yeah. Or you'll hear them like kind of make different sounds and you're like, how are you making that sound? It sometimes comes, and it sometimes comes kind of from like their throat. So it sounds like they're gargling kind of.
Yeah.
By 2 months, does your child suck well on the nipple? We're continuing on. Is he or she, or are they able to still do it? How do you feed your baby? Does your baby drink well from both the breast or the bottle, whichever one you're using? And do you and your baby enjoy feeding time? So we're still looking at this.
By 2 months of age, does a child feed every 2 to 4 hours during a day? So how often does a baby eat? And does a baby seems to be gaining weight?
And it's interesting because for this one, if you notice in the 1 month, they did not ask if your baby is steadily gaining weight, because sometimes babies lose weight in the first month. But if it keeps going into the second month, then that's where we're kind of wanting to ensure that baby is feeding a little bit more regularly to ensure that they are gaining the weight.
By 2 months of age, does your child lift head when on their tummy? Can your baby lift and turn their head when they're on their tummy? Does your baby pull their head up when on their tummy?
I love this picture.
Yeah, that's classic.
The arrow going up as your head go up.
And this one too, so at 2 months old, a lot of babies do not really like tummy time. So it's, important to try and find different ways that you can encourage them. You can have them lying on you because they are little, and a lot of times people don't want to put them down on the ground. There are different ways to support them in helping to build those muscles. So you can always have them lying down when you're lying down,
And at different angles, right?
At different angles too, to kind of get them to start lifting up their heads. So by 2 months of age, does your child hold head up when held at your shoulder? So this is another way, like I was just saying. Does your baby pull their head up when held at your shoulder? This is another way, if babies really don't like tummy time, to encourage them putting their head up.
I think this might be the last one.
Yes.
But when your baby is 2 months of age, can they move their arms and legs? It's a big deal. When you change your baby's diaper, do they move their arms and legs? When your baby is lying on their back, do they kick their legs? Or if they're stimulated by something, or do they start moving their arms and legs? I love that picture, the belly button.
So we'll take a look. So this is exactly the same thing that we just looked at. It's just in a different format. So we've kind of gone over, right? Getting started, answering the questions. And then these are all of the points that we went through. But we are going to read a little bit more.
It's just it's like a travel pack version of the same checklist.
Yeah, so these ones are just tips to help your child grow.
And every age range that we look at, they'll provide a different set of tips that are tailored to that age. And we're going to read these out. And these are all focusing on different areas of development as well. So for example, Manisha is going to read the first one, and it's going to be all about emotional development. And you can tell from that icon that's down at the bottom, that's a heart.
The little heart.
There, yeah. Glenda's petting the heart.
So let me read out this one. Some tips here: get to know me, touch me as you feed, dress, and bath me. Try to hear how I like to be handled, firmly or lightly, quickly or slowly. Massage my arms, legs, back, tummy, and face. This is good time to get to know one another. You are my first friend, and my interaction with you help me with my relationships in future. I'm most interested in your voice and face. I want you to hold me close so I can study your face. To help me relax, hold me close to you and cuddle me as we rock in a rocking chair. Talk or sing to me, touch me, talk in a soft, low voice or play lullaby song. Loud noise scares me. As you feed me, hold me close and look at me, smile, tell me how wonderful I am, and let me gaze into your eyes. I'm too little to go for a long time without eating. I may need to eat sometime during the night as well.
I want my head supported as you hold me against your shoulder and talk to me. I may try to lift my head for a few seconds to see my new world. There is so much to see. When I am awake and being watched, I need tummy time. I need to sleep on my back on a firm, flat surface.
That's your gross motor developmental domain, right? The physical stuff.
And then relate to me by talking, singing, or cooing as you change my diaper, give me a bath, feed me, or dress me. I want you to be involved with me. Talk, sing lullabies, say rhymes, or make up songs so I can listen to the sound of your voice. Change your voice. I may like a high-pitched or low-pitched voice. Respond to my crying. It's my communication. It's my way of communicating if I'm hungry, tired, warm, need a diaper change, or am in discomfort. Hold me close. You won't spoil me.
I'm loving all these tips. So, and then we got our last little area here. They don't cover as many areas in this 1 to 2 month old one, but this is for your cognitive development. Mirrors and dangling things are favorites of mine, and they love to look at those shiny dangling things. And it could be fingers too. You could use your fingers. They love looking at those wiggly fingers. And then we have some tips of what not to do. Do not do this with your baby. Very important. So I like movement, but please don't shake me. It's not safe. My head is too heavy for my neck. Since I am so young, always support my head. And also, please don't let anyone smoke around me. These babies are developing their lungs. They can't.
Yeah.
Really not good for them to have that around them.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because they did say, so we want to encourage tummy time, but we want it to be supervised. So their heads are still too heavy for their bodies. They actually have to grow into them. So it is hard for them to kind of still maneuver and navigate their heads. So anytime that we are doing tummy time, it is supervised.
Yeah.
And that's all we have. And then maybe Diane, if you want to just.
So if anyone has any questions for our family support workers, Christian or Glenda, please feel free to give us a call at our number. It is 416-762-3700, or please feel free to send us an email at cdiearlyon@childdevelop.ca.
And we're happy to go through these lists with you over either on the phone or over Zoom.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.